All right. Good evening, my dear viewers. How are you guys doing today? I believe you're doing great wherever you are. So, my people, today I want to set the record straight and respond to one serial blackmailer, one imbecile who is posing as this the founder of the presidential amnesty program, in the person of Ezekiel. You see, these miscreants have been going about spreading lies against the administrator of the presidential amnesty program, Dr. Dennis Butu and Baramatu people. He's spreading lies about Tompolo, Kestin Pondi, Godfrey Pondi, Maitutonla, and other leaders in Baramatu. I want to expose Daniel Ezekiel to all of you and why he is doing all of this. You see, Daniel Ezekiel, first, never took part in the Niger Delta armed struggle. Daniel Ezekiel was never part of the Niger Delta armed struggle. When the struggle was on, he was in his father's church, running around as a kerubu in his select church. Daniel Ezekiel never took part in the Niger Delta struggle. He's out there deceiving people. And the gullible ex-agitators, I pity all of you. I pity all of you. Daniel is there lying against Otuaro and you are believing him. He said that he is the reason why the presidency increased the amnesty budget, which is a big lie. Which level you get to go talk to president? Daniel, you are just spreading lies that you contacted, you personally spoke to the president to increase the budget. You who could not even afford a form, NDC or ADC form, who came up with a fake form to pose as if he's contesting any election. You spoke to president. See, my people, nobody should believe all the lies that Ezekiel is telling you. If Ezekiel is getting something from you today, and then tomorrow you stop giving to him, Ezekiel will come out and blackmail you. Daniel Ezekiel will come out and blackmail you. He will castigate you. And one thing again, let me set this record straight. So those of you that you are successfully deceived, that he was sent to prison to Kirikiri for 2 years because of the Niger Delta struggle or anything that has to do with Tompolo, is a lie. That is a big lie. Daniel Ezekiel was sent to prison by his own personal action. As a result of his own personal action, his grievances with an individual that has nothing to do with Tompolo. He was sent to prison after for committing his criminal activities. His fight with an individual, and it does not concern Tompolo, and it has nothing to do with the Niger Delta struggle. He's lying against Otuaro, telling people that Otuaro is milking the office, Otuaro is not doing what is expected, Otuaro must do this, Otuaro must do that. Daniel Ezekiel is just deceiving you, Niger Deltans. I did not come here to give you guys a long sermon. I just came out to inform you people. Beware of Daniel Ezekiel. Those of you who are following him on WhatsApp groups, spreading the lies with him, Ezekiel will dump you all. Ezekiel will dump you. Ezekiel is a bloody blackmailer. He's a bloody blackmailer. He had personal issue with somebody, and the person arrested him. He's coming back to say that now Niger Delta struggle. Now make the send me go Kirikiri. Ezekiel, nobody said you go any Kirikiri for Niger Delta struggle. Where you passed to join the Niger Delta struggle? He said you went to prison because of Tompolo. Which Tompolo now you go defend? Are you the only one that have been defending Tompolo on social media? Why have they not arrested the other people? Why did they not arrest the other people till now? I'm out here defending Tompolo every day. Speaking of the good works that he's doing in his nation and Nigeria at large. How many times government does say, because you are speaking good about Tompolo, come, let us arrest him? How many times? They've not done it. But the moment I get myself engaged in a criminal activity, that is when the government can come after me. You, if you were speaking about Tompolo, and then you were arrested because of that, Ezekiel, come and show us proof. Come and show us proof. You were not defending Tompolo or anything. Your personal issue with an individual, whom I'm not going to mention his name, was what led you to prison. Say you go suffer for Kirikiri for 2 years because of Tompolo. Which Tompolo head now you take go suffer? Now people who don't know all these stories, now you will go live for Ezekiel. Now people who don't know all this story, we have been tolerating your excesses on WhatsApp groups and Facebook for a long time. But today, I felt like I need to come out and address you. I need to address you. Now frustration they do you. You are frustrated. You are frustrated. You are one of the people that the likes of Boylov were trying to use to make the presidential amnesty office. You came to Otuaro with proposals, fraudulent and criminal proposals. Because Otuaro denied your proposal. That's why you are fighting Otuaro now. Many people don't even know. The reason why you are fighting Otuaro is because Otuaro refused to accept your criminal proposal. Your criminal proposal. When the delegates, the genuine delegates need the funds for their own upkeep and well-being, you came with a fraudulent proposal that Otuaro should sideline some delegate and give you what is supposed to be for the delegate. Otuaro rejected the proposal. That's why you are there. You are there castigating the name of the man. Before now, you were singing Otuaro's praises. But the moment you came up with that fraudulent proposal and it was rejected, oh, Otuaro is a bad man. Otuaro doesn't mean well for Nigeria. I mean, Niger Deltans. You are a fool. You are a big fool, Daniel Ezekiel. You are a big fool. And let it be known, let it be recorded that every single time Daniel Ezekiel come out to abuse my Baramatu leaders, I am going to abuse the leaders from where he came from, which is a Bema. I am not going to be apologetic about it. If the Bema people cannot call this a mad dog to order, I am going to abuse their leaders as well. Because one person will not be there abusing my leaders and I will just keep quiet. I will start to abuse the Bema leaders too. Let us see if it's a good thing. Let's see if it's a good thing. Otuaro has done immensely well in the presidential amnesty program. Look at the historical records. Look at the historical records. When we talk about education, who doesn't know that education is the panacea for development of the Niger Delta region? Who doesn't know the importance of education in this current era? Who doesn't know it? Who doesn't know it? The Niger Delta armed struggle is over. Time for the armed struggle is over. Everything ended in 2009. From that minute to where we are and even to where we are going, we have to deal with intellectual struggle. It is no longer armed struggle. It is now intellectual struggle. And how do we fight this intellectual struggle if we are not educated? How do we fight if we are not educated? If we are not educated to stand in podiums, to stand in both national and global stage, to speak for the betterment of the Niger Delta people, if we are not educated, how are we going to achieve it? How will we be able to meet the government of this country and present a fair proposal to them for the interest of the Niger Delta region? How? How are we going to achieve it? A man is here laying emphasis on that factor, knowing fully well that the days of the armed struggle is over. Now it is time for intellectual struggle. So the man is making every effort to ensure that the Niger Delta people are sound intellectually in order for them to face the war. You think that the Niger Delta struggle don't end? Or is that what you are thinking? That the Niger Delta struggle has ended? It hasn't ended. It was only the armed struggle that ended. The armed struggle ended in 2009. From that minute to where we are and even to where we are going tomorrow, the intellectual struggle, the struggle changed from armed struggle to intellectual struggle. And intellectual struggle can only succeed when the people are educated. When the people are educated. What Otuaro is doing is not just for the Niger Delta people, the individuals that are benefiting from the program. No. It is for the interest of the region. Look at the history of the Presidential Amnesty Office. From 2009 till the time Otuaro took over, the past administrators, how many people they sent go schools? They did not understand this philosophy that this struggle has gone beyond armed struggle, no longer armed struggle again. It is intellectual struggle. Therefore, we must lay emphasis on the education factor. They did not have this idea. So they were there for about 16 years. The past administrators put together. Yes, the highest number, the number of people they sent for school, both in the country and outside the country, were less than 7,000 for 16 good years. Because they did not see what Otuaru is seeing. They did not think of the struggle as per laying emphasis on the intellectual struggle. They did not see it from that angle. They felt they needed to deal with just the 30,000 Niger Delta agitators. Niger Delta agitators are more than that number. But see, for about 16 years, like I said, the past administrators could not send a reasonable number of Niger Deltans to school because they did not have the philosophy. They don't have the understanding that this struggle don't pass where we go shoot gun. It is no longer gone. You have signed a deal with the government that we are not going to pick up arms against the government again. They didn't. So the total number of students they deployed from this Amnesty International was less than 7,000. But look at what Otuaru did. A man who understands the system. A man who knows that this era, the only way we can project the Niger Delta issue to both the national, international, and the global stage is through education. Intellectual battle. Through education. Otuaru understands it. And one beautiful thing about it, Otuaru understands it. What took the past administrators 16 years to achieve, Otuaru did in less than 2 years. In less than 2 years. It took about 16 years for the past administrators to deploy less than 7,000 students from the Amnesty office. But when Otuaru came in, less than 2 years, Otuaru deployed over 7,000 students. Less than 2 years, both within the country and outside the country. And presently, the number has increased massively. It's over 8,000 students. 8,000 Niger Deltans that are now going into education. And after the graduation, they will be fixed into different ministries and industries, commissions here and there, to defend the Niger Delta interest. And you are there fighting this man. You are fighting this man. Aside that area, Otuaru has made the Niger Delta people to be beneficiaries of this program. Otuaru did not see one person like this one I deserve anything for this program pass. No. It is Niger Delta Presidential Amnesty Program, not the Niger Delta 30,000 ex-agitators Presidential Amnesty Program. No. It is for the Niger Delta region, which means every single Niger Delta has to benefit from it. Otuaru opened the doors of the program and allowed the Niger Deltans to come in. To come in, not just for the 30,000. The 30,000, there are a lot of Niger Delta ex-agitators that were not captured during that amnesty process. During the declaration, a lot that were not captured. Are you telling me that it's only the 30,000 Niger Deltans that were captured that are qualified to enjoy the proceeds of this office? A Niger Delta office. You are attacking the man. Otuaru has made families across the Niger Delta region have graduates. Because of Otuaru, families can boast that they have graduates. They have graduates. How many of our communities, how many of our parents in the Niger Delta region can afford the university fees of their children? How many of them even have the level to approach the past administrators of the program to solicit for scholarship for their children? How many of them had that opportunity? None. They could not even assess the administrators or anybody in power in that office to seek for scholarship for their children to go to school. None. But when Otuaru came, Otuaru opened the door. Otuaru is even meeting with them, calling for them. Niger Deltans, come and go to school. This is the era of education. Come and go to school. And the man is laying more emphasis on it. You are talking about an increment of stipends. What between increasing the stipends and training more Niger Deltans, educating more Niger Deltans who will start tomorrow to defend the region and bring good things to the region? Which one is better, Ezekiel? Which one is better? That they should increase the 65,000 naira to 200,000 naira. Now, between increasing the 65,000 to 200,000 and educating more Niger Deltans who become commissioners, become ministers, become presidents, governors, and directors of different fields to defend the interests of the Niger Delta. Which one is better? Which one is better? It is only fools like you that will be clapping for you. Not be somebody like Abraham. I know you rich house. I know you rich house, Ezekiel. You are nobody. You feed on blackmail. You feed on blackmail. And if you think it's going to be business as usual for you, you don't fail. You cannot blackmail the Baramatu leaders. You can't. You not fit. You're too small. You're too small. And an event that occurred about 3 or 4 years, or say 5 years ago, you are relating it to the Niger Delta struggle. Say Baramatu people, the sideline the Gbema people. Say when the Gbema boys they go die for the struggle. The Gbema boys went die now before 2009 they die. Yes, they must have participated in the struggle effectively, but don't try to relate their death to the presidential amnesty office. You don't do it. Don't relate them. Don't try to antagonize the office. That our Gbema boys that Baramatu now carry and take kill the boys. When we say they spread lies, say boys died for struggle and Baramatu people are not doing anything about it. Ezekiel, know yourself. Know yourself. Know yourself. And to the Gbema leaders, you better call this moron to order. Call Ezekiel to order, else I will also be sending a very, very disturbing message to you, Gbema leaders. I will be abusing you people as well. The same way Ezekiel is abusing my Baramatu leaders. I will abuse you as well. So I'm going to see whether it's the pain. Make we see whether it's the pain. This maggot, they abuse Tompolo, Kestin, Otuaro, Machitonla, Godfrey Pandi, and every leader in Baramatu kill up every single day. None of our Gbema leaders don't come outside and come talk to him. None of you have come out to call him to order, to caution him. But I am waiting to see any Gbema leader that will have the effrontery to approach me either online or physically to tell me that Abraham do not abuse the Gbema leaders. I'm waiting for that leader. I dey wait for that leader either online or physically. I dey wait for that person. Then I go tell the person direct to his face what he has done about his own Gbema boy Ezekiel that is abusing the Baramatu leaders every day. What has he done about it? So long as you have not been able to call this moron to order, you cannot speak to me about abusing anybody. You can't. You can't. And Ezekiel, let me tell you, you cannot create a discord between the Gbema people and the Baramatu people. You cannot create a discord. You cannot. You cannot create a discord. We are one people and we are going to remain that way. If you think you can create a rift between the Gbema and Baramatu, you are deceiving yourself. You don't go fit. They carry Mabo matter say if they come. Say Otuaro sack Mabo. Say Baramatu house, Operator house, Niger Otuaro made a sack Mabo. You don't know what Mabo do. If you not here, they can tell you. You not hear what Mabo do. Mabo was engaging in criminal activities in that presidential amnesty office. Somebody that was nowhere. Otuaro gave him such an elevated position to be head of conflict resolution and stakeholders management. Mabo was carrying out different criminal activities in that office. And Otuaro, being a good man who does not want to align himself with any criminality, he had to excuse Mabo now. Make him leave Mabo for them. Make Mabo come spoiling administration. Say na Gbema na because say Mabo na Gbema person I make Otuaro Saka. Which Gbema person I make Saka? Go find out the things that led to the sack of Mabo. Come find out. Not know how to talk. See, now only these fools them up for social media and the ex-agitators that allow themselves to be deceived by you, Ezekiel. Now you go feel deceived. But I'm telling the Niger Delta people, do not believe the lies that Ezekiel is spreading against Dr. Dennis Buto Otuaro. Otuaro is the savior of the presidential amnesty program. All of you can attest to the fact that before Otuaro came in, this program was hijacked by a group of criminals. A group of so-called leaders in the Niger Delta was using it for their own benefits. They hijacked the program. Majority of the Niger Delta people never had access to this program. But when Otuaro came, he opened the door. He opened the door. He was having different stakeholders meeting to incorporate the Niger Delta people into this program. The program now all of us get them. Not be 30,000 people. Every single Niger Delta community must have contributed or affected in one way or the other during this struggle. That was why the presidency made it a Niger Delta amnesty program, not the 30,000 ex-agitators program. Niger Delta. Otuaro came with this impacted community policy, which is the best thing that has ever happened in this presidential amnesty program. Impacted community policy that gave room to more Niger Deltas to benefit from this program. You're fighting that man. Many Niger Delta families could not afford the university fees of their children. But today, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 graduates in the families. All thanks to Otuaro. All thanks to Otuaro. You are there castigating the man. And for me, if you think about the increment of stipends, there is no... In fact, I know that Otuaro does not have the express authority to increase whatever that is there, to increase any stipends. He still has to take the directive from the president and the office of the NSA. So it is not in his place to just say, okay, we are doing this like the Otuaro is working for the government. He's working for the government. And even if it has to happen, I will advise that they should not increase this 65,000 to any amount. Rather, we should use that money to train more Niger Deltas in school. To train more Niger Deltas, because we need warriors, intellectual warriors, not these losers, these minstrels like Ezekiel, that are planning. The only thing that they want to do is criminal activities. We need Niger Deltas that will be sound upstairs, that can speak before the presidency. People that will go out there to project the interest of the Niger Delta people and bring good things back. When everybody they fight, when say they will become graduates so that they will be meaningfully employed, gain employment, and speak in public places and to tackle issues that affect the Niger Delta region. You dare they go attack Otuaro. Say they should increase the stipends from 65,000 to 200,000. The money that they are supposed to use to train more Niger Deltans into professional organizations and different areas. People that will come out as graduates in different fields to speak for the Niger Delta people. He said they should use it to increase one salary, one stipend. Increase rating. It is not within the powers of Otuaro to effect the increments. Otuaro is just working for the presidency, the government. It is only Mr. President and the NSA that will have that authority to increase whatever that they want to increase. And even if now me, if I had my way, I will advise Mr. President and the NSA not to increase that 65,000. Rather, the money should be used to send more Niger Delta youth and youths to school, of course. That money should be used to send more Niger Delta youths to school. To open the doors of education to the Niger Delta people. Not to be increased, not to be used to increase one stipend. Make una shop the stipend, increase and make una shop and shop the future of our children. Shop the future of the Niger Delta region. Now that one and day after. If they increase them from that 65,000 to 200,000, how many hours it go take you? How many days it go take you? You don't shop them. But if they use that money, take train one Niger Delta youth, become graduates. That youth will come out tomorrow to become either a governor, a minister, a president, or occupying one sensitive commission as director. That will not be glory to Niger Delta. Not be glory to Niger Delta. Now down here we go there, come the fight, make government bring things, come give us. We must be part of the system there. And how do we climb to that height to speak with the government one-on-one to attract developments to Niger Delta region? It is through education. The ladder with which the Niger Delta people can climb to the heights of the government to speak and to drag development to Niger Delta is education. Education. So every sane Niger Delta, you are supposed to understand this. Understand this. Don't allow the lives of don't allow Ezekiel try to deceive you. Don't allow them. Today, Niger Delta families, you can knock your chest that you have graduates. Just about 2 days ago or so, other people don't graduate for the region. We are celebrating new graduates just about 2 days ago, both within the country and outside the country. People who was sent abroad by Otuaro for master's program. They have completed their trainings in the UK and other parts. And before you know, those persons will come back to our society. We get into different commissions and do more better things for the region and around the country too. A lot of persons graduated about 2 days ago. All thanks to Otuaro. And I want to shop the money loud so that make the Niger Delta future for not bright. And I'm ready to shop the future of Niger Delta today so that make the people, the children, when we say they come, suffer tomorrow. You are bastards. You are bastards. For fighting against this education policy of Dr. Dennis Otuaro, you are a bastard. Any Niger Delta that is encouraging Daniel Ezekiel to fight Otuaro is a bastard. You are a bastard. You don't mean well for the Niger Delta region. You don't. You don't mean well for the region. You don't. This man has transformed the program. I say boy love and he gang them. Till they make money for themselves before. Otuaro come, open up to everybody. Open up. The entire Niger Delta region now, you are coming here to attack that man, to try to defend his character. My leaders, I have said this. If you fail to call that your mad dog to order, I, Comrade Freebody Bima Yabraye, I will reciprocate the insult that fool is meting or that is directing at the Baramatu leaders. I will reciprocate it. I will reciprocate it and nothing will happen. Now me they talk am. If when I not call down and begin to order, me, the same insult when they insult on Polo, they insult Otuaro, they insult Kestin Pondi, Godfrey Pondi, and other Baramatu leaders, I go return them back to honor. And I don't need any permission from any of these people for me to return the insult back to you. As a son of Baramatu, I have the right to defend my leaders. If you allow your own to defame and to blackmail other leaders, now your business. I don't need anybody to permit me to go and defend them. No, I don't need it. As a son of Baramatu, it is my right. I will not sit down and allow one imbecile to abuse my father, and I will keep quiet. I will not be that kind of person. I don't go sit down when make one mumu. They come cause my presence. I come sit down and say, I don't have trouble. You come cause my father come out. I will not be that kind of person. If you abuse my father, I must abuse your father. If you abuse my mother, I must abuse your mother. If you abuse my leaders, I will abuse your leaders. Nonsense. So, Niger Delta, make una wise. Wise. Otuaro is a savior to the program. Otuaro is a savior. And you can attest to it.